Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and today guys we're going to be jumping back down into the charts for Bitcoin, see what's been going on most recently and what I would expect to happen next. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you'll be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Okay guys, let's get into this. So basically Bitcoin paired up with USDT on the hourly chart. Binance is the data source, and basically we saw a bit of a push to the upside yesterday on the back of the Fed announcement not being as worse as people maybe had thought. For the most part, I actually think it was pretty much exactly as to what many were expecting, but nonetheless we saw a bit of a surge upwards. Now this is a short-lived pump in my opinion, and I'm going to go through why. Okay, so essentially what we have over this side is we have this kind of A, B, C structure just here. Okay, we then also have another A, B, C structure over here, just bringing us back down into our yellow box area, about $37,500. And then we started to see this up here. Now we could look at this as a 5-wave count if we want. That's also valid, but also an A, B, C structure might be better fitting here. So again, we can go with some kind of A, B, and C. It's possible that this C hasn't quite finished yet, and that we might just push up a little bit higher than this range here. And I'll go through that in a moment. But essentially, if I remove these off of the chart, right, because there's a lot of noise there, those are sub-wave counts, we could also look at it as just one giant A, one giant B, and one giant C. Okay, you kind of come into completion. This is our B wave, and B waves are unpredictable. We try to make sure we get the sub-wave counts to where we want them, and then this obviously will allow us to kind of predict out where our next C wave down is likely to go. Okay, we've obviously got sub-wave counts, all these are sub-wave counts of our recent moves, and we are still looking at 36,266. That hasn't changed. Okay, so before we get into that, let's just do a couple of quick sense checks. Okay, we're going to take this high, we're going to take this low, we're going to transpose over to this one just here, and you can see that we came up to the 1.382 and reversed down. Okay, so nothing too glamorous about that. Okay, so pretty standard. Okay, now if we come down into this range down here, and we can see that there's a small push up, we could of course articulate this as a big kind of wave 3 here, 4, and then 5 going up a little bit. But again, we have a lot of volatility in this. It's kind of some kind of expansion here before moving on up. The market yesterday was really trying to decide whether it's going to go to the moon or not. Okay, and I think not at this particular moment in time. Now the other thing that we want to kind of consider is take this measurement here and we'll move it over to this point. It is possible that this can move up to about 40,600, but in doing so it would move higher than this range here, so I would not expect that to happen. Okay, that would basically make this potentially no longer just a regular ABC, but more of an expanding ABC. Okay, so you'd still look to come down, and you would expect this to kind of come up higher than origin, and you'd expect C to come down lower than A. Again, this would line up nicely with our idea of coming down lower towards our 36,322. But again, I would prefer to not have to go through an expansion, and I'd rather keep it in regular kind of corrective patterns if possible. Okay, so just knowing that's a possible kind of move, we might move this up a little bit. And if we take a look at the stochastic RSI, we've got the hourly chart basically down here in the oversold area, but basically the volume just dropped off here. So if we throw the volume in, you can see that basically there wasn't actually too much kind of buying pressure, and there was a little bit right inside here, and I'm not sure really why, whether this is long positions opening up, I'm not sure, but essentially the volume has dropped all the way back down. Now the alarming thing with this would be that you'd have the kind of scenario for a setup of a bull flag, right? You have the pole just here, you have the flag going around sideways, and to kind of look at these, you have volume for the pole and no volume on the flag. Okay, so therefore this is kind of continuation. We might surge up just ever so slightly more here with BTC. But again, it would be short-lived in my opinion, because essentially we've still got to pull back down. And if we actually take a look at the higher time frames, the 4-hourly is overbought, the 8-hourly is overbought, and the daily, if I can load that one there, is almost overbought. So it's possible that we move up ever so slightly higher here, But the crash coming back down towards these ranges of $34,000 is very real, and it is going to be coming. It's a case of being patient and basically making sure that you're not FOMOing in right at the top, in my opinion. Okay, I'm not a financial advisor, I can't give you financial advice, but buying the tops of these big green candles, even if there is a little bit more of a surge coming, is high risk. Essentially, what we are talking about and have been talking about for a while is that a move to the downside, right? We are expecting $36,000 to $34,000. Okay, we can see right down here 36,000, and we can see down here 34,000. Okay, these are going to happen, in my opinion. Nothing has changed to kind of invalidate those lows. They are likely, they are probable, and you know, we want to be sure that we are buying the right dip. We don't necessarily want to be kind of FOMOing in just because, you know, if there's been a couple of percentage points gained, you know, in the crypto space. I do think there's a little bit more room to go, but I don't think that's going to be massive. And, you know, it's at that point really you want to kind of consider what happens next, which I do think is going to be a significant drop to the downside, where we actually start talking about, you know, $36,000, maybe even $34,000. Okay, so guys, I'm going to now come over to Glassnode to just highlight the gain accumulation is still going on. Whales are continuing to pack their bags with BTC. Yesterday, we saw another 91,000 BTC leaving the exchanges. Okay, this is multi-year low for the amount of Bitcoin being held on the exchanges, right, which is a very, very significant amount basically just disappearing. Now we go back, I think, as low as high as 2018, and you can kind of see exactly now where we are tracking, right? We are tracking around August time. For August 2018 was the last time that we were this low with BTC on exchanges, right? So this is going to be really interesting to see what happens next. And of course, you know, if we actually take a look at the wallets while we're here, we can also see, you know, the amount of Bitcoin with 1,000 or more BTC in the wallet has actually just decreased ever so slightly there. Let me just bring this back up. You can see we have a slight decrease here. So yeah, we're going to be aware that over the last 2 days, the whales actually have, you know, lowered, right, their position. They basically sold their position as that price moved up yesterday, for example. So just be aware that, you know, you want to be buying when they're buying and selling when they're selling. Be ahead of the curve here. Again, on the 100 BTC per wallet, slight decrease again over the last 2 days. Slight decrease here. Not something to be conveyedly concerned with. Not as much as, let's say, this one here, where we actually moved down and we have basically 2,270 down to 2,250. So we are talking about 20 wallets with over 1,000 BTC, you know, taken out. So just be aware that some of these larger players were selling. At the same time, what you've actually seen is a lot more accumulation as well. So just be aware that I am expecting the price to pull back down. The surge that you saw yesterday wouldn't have been based on much other than a little bit of kind of FOMO on the back of the fact that the rest of the market was moving. But essentially, I think it's short-lived, and I do expect the rest of the market to come crashing back down towards these low levels. Nothing here has changed. So guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found this useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.